Hello everybody, and welcome to the first video in my little series on how to do a research paper. For this research paper video, what I want you to do is go into the research paper folder of the assignment that you're doing. So somewhere in there's a folder or a module, if you want to call it that, that's about research papers. So I'm going to want you to open that module up, and when you're in there, I want you to open the following two documents. One of them is using the cite tool and creating a hanging indent. So you'll open that one, and then the next one, it'll probably be right above that. In fact, that using the cite tool will probably be your last entry. It'll probably be the very bottom document. So you go down there and open that one, and in addition to that, open the one that says Sample Annotated Bibliography. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually take a second to pause here and let you go ahead and open that, and then go ahead and hit the play button once you've got that document open. Alright, so we're back. So let us start with using the cite tool and creating a hanging indent document, because that's the first one. So when you open that, you're going to see a picture of a blank Word document on the first page. Now, what you'll do is scroll down past that, and the next thing you're going to see is a sample of an entry in Galileo. Now, if you don't know how to use Galileo, you can go ahead and watch one of the videos that I've got posted in there from our library that'll show you how to use Galileo to find articles. Make sure when you do that you click both the full text so that you can actually read the article, because sometimes it'll give you hits and there's no article attached. And also make sure that you click the peer review to see if you can get some scholarly articles on your subject. So as you can see here by looking at page 2 of this document, that I have a sample from Galileo. Depending on what field you've got, I'm using the 1101 one this time, so I've got one on taxpayers buying or building sports facilities. But we've got that article up there. So if you scroll down a little bit more on that page, you're going to see that on the right-hand side of that page, there's a column that has several different tools. And by the way, I hope you're actually following along on your document and not just watching me sit here talk to the camera. If you haven't got the document maximized, go ahead and maximize that. You'll go to page 3 of that document, and you'll see that there's a toolbar that's on the right-hand side of the page. And notice I've circled cite. It says that's what you're going to do. You're going to use that. Now, when you copy and paste from this cite tool, you are not plagiarizing. What you're doing is using the tool that you have been given by Galileo in order to correctly cite your page. So basically the way I tell it to my classes is that if I made you use the same 3 articles in order to do a paper and said you have to use these 3 articles, everybody's works cited page should be identical. That's what MLA is all about, is trying to get some uniformity and make sure that everybody's works cited page looks exactly the same. So you'll click that little cite button, and the next thing you see down there is you'll see a list of options. You'll notice I've circled the little scroll bar on the right. So scroll down. Remember, in my class and in most English classes, we're going to use MLA format. We're not going to use APA. We're not going to use Chicago. We're going to use MLA. So go ahead and scroll down a little bit more, and you'll see that we get to the MLA one. And what you're going to want to do with that MLA is you're going to want to highlight that entry. So you'll start with the author's name, and the ending of the entry will be the date that you actually read the article. So in my handout, you can see that I did this in 2014. So go ahead and highlight that and copy it. You can do a right click, or you can do a Control-C. Either way will get you to copy it. But copy that entry. And the next thing you're going to do, as you can see in the document here, is you're going to go back into your page. And there's a paste option. I would not click the clipboard, because if you click the clipboard, it's going to turn out incorrectly. What I would do is go down that little arrow down below the word paste, and you can see it gives you 3 options. One is to paint, one is to merge, and then one is just to copy. You're going to want to use the merge option. So you can see it's the middle one. It's got a picture, it looks like, of a clipboard with an arrow pointing down and to the right. So you'll use that option. Of course, you'll want to make sure that it's double spaced. You'll want to make sure that the font is correct and everything else. Now, note the note that I have here. This is on page 4 of your handout under number 9. Sometimes Galileo will not format this stuff properly. The most common mistake that Galileo will make is that it will have the author's names in all caps. You don't want to have the author's name in all caps, so you would change that. But for the most part, you can go ahead and pretty much trust, for the most part, that it's going to be right about 90 to 95% of the time. So you'll paste that in there using that little merge function, and then you're going to want to have a hanging indent. So what you'll do is you'll highlight that entry again, and then go to the top toolbar, and it shows you, now I'm on page 6 of our document, it shows you how to go into the paragraph menu. And you're going to click that little box in the lower right hand corner of the paragraph section of the toolbar up top. There's a little square with an arrow pointing down to the right. And when you get that, you're going to see the little menu that's in the middle of page 6 there. Okay, now what you want to do is this. You want to make sure, if we scroll down, you're going to look at that multiple on that 10 point. And in some cases it may be 8 point. I don't know why Word always does that, but sometimes it'll be 8 point or sometimes it'll be 10 point in that after box. Then you've got the multiple line spacing. So go ahead and change that 10 or that 8 in the after to a 0. So if we scroll down to page 7, you'll see that. And change that line spacing from minimum to double. So you want to have the double line spacing. Now the special menu will be above that. And right now, in most of your documents, that special will probably say none. So what you're going to do, and you can see in the picture, it's right above that line spacing one. What you're going to do is you're going to use that drop down menu, and you're going to choose hanging. Okay. Now nothing's going to happen right away when you click hanging. What's going to happen is after you click hanging, then go down and hit that OK button. You're going to see what you see at the very bottom of page 7, which is after instruction number 16, which is the properly formatted hanging indent. Notice that the first line is left flush and every line below the first line is indented. That is what it will look like. Now you see it says works cited here, but it will say annotated bibliography on your annotated bibliography. That's fine. So that is what your entries should all look like. They should be properly formatted, and they should be, the title of the journal and the title of the database be italicized. The author's name should not be in all caps. Sometimes Galileo will have that, so you'll change that. But for the most part, this is what it looks like. And notice that the hanging indent is correct. All of your entries should look like that. So we get to that point. Now, how do we make an annotated bibliography, you may be asking? Well, I'm glad you asked. Let's go ahead and open that sample annotated bibliography one. Alright, so if you've got that sample annotated bibliography open, you'll see that I've gone ahead and put the header in the upper right corner, then I've got the name, instructor name, class, and so on the left hand side. And notice that it says annotated bibliography, that is center justified. I'm going to want that. Then you're going to have the correctly formatted entry in that first one. Now, notice that there's an annotation after that, and that annotation is not hanging indent. That annotation is completely left flush. Here's how you do the annotation. You go in there, and the first thing you're going to write is what the article is about. So this article looks at the implications of using public funds to finance stadiums, yada yada yada. Okay, so give me a brief part. Now the thing in the entry on Galileo, the abstract. That's what I'm looking for. The abstract will tell you what's in the article. Do not copy and paste that abstract because you'll get a 0 for plagiarism. But they can help you tell me what you're going to find in that article. If you continue through that paragraph, the next thing you're going to see is it's going to say, I will use this article because, or I will use this article to do something. I'm going to want that in your annotation as well. So I'm going to want the first part of your annotation to kind of give me a brief overview of what's in the article. The second part of your annotation, I'm going to want you to tell me how you intend to use this article. And don't tell me I intend to use this article to help my paper. No kidding. Tell me exactly what you think the article is going to help you do. And if you go down to the next entry, you'll see the same thing. And then you go down to the third entry, you'll see the same thing. These annotations are only about a paragraph each, but they tell me what's in the article and what's your expectations are. And I'm going to be looking for that in your annotations. All right. So now the next question is, why do I make you do an annotated bibliography? Well, there's a couple of reasons for that. One is to get you going on your research. Too many students think that they can wait until the day before a paper is due and then do the annotated bibliography, and you are going to be very disappointed at how bad your grade is going to look. So the annotated bibliography gets you going on your research so you don't try to do all your research and write the paper on the day it's due. The other part is what I'm about to show you. So I want you to have that document open. Have it maximized. Now, do this. That part where the name, my name, and then the English 1101 and the June, go ahead and highlight that. And I want you to hit the delete key. Now your annotated bibliography is at the top of that page, right? Now, the next thing I want you to do, and make sure you do this so you'll see what I'm talking about, highlight those words annotated bibliography with your cursor. Once you got those highlighted, you're going to go ahead and type in the word works cited. So, works cited should now be at the top of your page instead of annotated bibliography. You've replaced annotated bibliography with works cited. Okay? So have you got that? Alright. Now, the next thing I want you to do is go down to the bottom of that first entry and start at the beginning of your annotation, the part where it says this article. I want you to highlight the annotation only. Okay? You've highlighted the annotation? Now go to your keyboard and you'll see the delete key to the right of your main keyboard there. Hit that delete key. And you might have to go ahead and hit the backspace key one time. Alright. So now you can see that you have annotations on the second and third entries, but you don't have an annotation on the first entry. Do that again with the second entry. Highlight the annotation and hit the delete key. Then on the third one, do the same thing. So have you deleted all your annotations? You should have 3 perfectly formatted entries underneath the word works cited. That, ladies and gentlemen, is your works cited page on your paper. Now all you'll have to do is copy that, go into your document, put in a page break at the end of your document so that the works cited page starts at the top of the next page. Paste that in there using probably the paintbrush one in this case. So paste that in there using the paintbrush option. Voila! You have a perfectly formatted works cited page in your research paper. And remember, a portion of your grade on that research paper is whether or not you have a perfectly formatted works cited page. So if you follow these instructions in the 2 documents that I've just shown you, there is no reason why you can't get full credit for the works cited page because you won't have any mistakes. And isn't that a wonderful thing to know that at least part of your paper will get a perfect score? So that's how you put together an annotated bibliography. So go ahead and get to work on that. Remember what the due date of your annotated bibliography is and have it in on time, or bring it to class with you if you're in one of my face-to-face classes, and we will go over it together. And have a great day, and the next part we'll be talking about how to do the research paper itself.